Hang on, I was going to say a thing to start. What was it? I can't remember it all. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Well, oh, I remember now. I remember, okay. Welcome to 2021, everybody. New Year, same old Chainsaw Man, and same old Khantehnt. And you gotta take yourself on over to subscribestar.com/Khantehnt and start your new year off by supporting us for $10 a month for all our bonus episodes.
It's worth it. Chainsaw Man is really good.
It is really good.
It's so hype and fun to read and awesome.
Sure is. It sure is.
This shit got crazy. Like where we left off, one of the
chapter 23 to 40 is what we're doing in this section.
Yes, yeah. So we left off right after what's her name? Makise?
Makima. Hey, there's a thing. Apparently the author, somebody posted this in the comments, they said that Denji likes motherly type girls. Makima, mama.
Okay.
Motherly, could this be? I don't know.
Sure. But yeah, so Makima got shot and we were like kind of suspicious because we were like, well, it seems like this was a misdirect where they make you think this character's gonna die and then kill the other girl. But we were like, but that also seems like a misdirect, and it was a double misdirect to kill this character, but it wasn't just to kill this character.
It was for a lot more than that.
It was a whole bunch of, it was a huge, like one of those turning point moments in a show where you're like, oh fuck, like the status quo has shifted, we're in a different place now.
I see why we were told to stop after chapter 22. Thanks, Noni, for the recommendation.
Yeah.
And yeah, good structuring so far.
I mean, the like 10 chapters from that point forward are just nonstop, crazy shit happening, where, like, so it's right away, like, we had her get shot, and then it's like everybody else gets shot, like right at the start of the next chapter.
Like the rest of the entirety,
all the humans, basically.
All the public security people working in this government, they all have been killed by people with guns.
Yeah.
And as we'll learn, these people have been contracted specifically by the person our heroes were like, hey man, we're on this epic quest to kill the gun devil. The gun devil himself has just contracted all these humans to kill ththese people specifically. So he's brought the fight to them, which I fucking love. We now have personal investment with the gun devil more than we had before. It's great.
Well, and this is a much better structure because instead of random stuff leading up to maybe one day we'll fight it, it's like, no, we're already in the battle.
Yeah.
Like it's begun, the final battle has begun, but an infinite number of devils can be working under the gun devil, you know, for however long it takes for the story to do whatever it has to do. It's just that feeling of like we're already in the arc that should lead to the ending. So we know there's no more bullshitting. Like everything that happens from this point on is important.
Yeah.
And it's rare to have that feeling like, I guess like with shonen manga, usually you get to see the sense that like this is just the first arc and that like once it's over there will be something past that. That doesn't seem that way, and we know Chainsaw Man's ending soon. So
well, let's touch on that real quick. Chainsaw Man is done. Chainsaw Man is over with
now.
Either 97 or 98 chapters. Right. But here's the weird thing, and an anime is confirmed. So last time we didn't even know. It's confirmed. It's coming 2021 sometime, which I'm excited about, but there's some things, like I don't know if they'll adapt everything great, so we'll see how that works out.
I mean, like, we got 97 chapters.
Yeah.
If you tell me 50 episodes, I'll go, hey,
cool,
that could be right.
Yeah.
If you tell me 39 episodes, I'll be like,
oh, they're not gonna...
I mean, maybe they'll do it really fast. I mean, I don't want it to be slow.
Yeah.
But if they tell me like 26 episodes, I'll be like, all right, here's a problem.
Here's another fascinating thing that I learned as well, though. So, like, Chainsaw Man's done, but actually, like, once it finished, or, because I haven't gotten this, so I don't know what this means exactly. I'm sure the readers out there who finished it do. Like, Chainsaw Man being done, they announced, like, a part 2 of Chainsaw Man continuing on Jump Plus, like their online service. And the fact that it's Jump Plus and not Shonen Jump makes some people be like, ooh, this doesn't sound like an upgrade for the series. Like, what does this mean exactly for the Chainsaw Man world? I have no idea.
we probably shouldn't comment on it too much until we finish Chainsaw
I'm just
Man,
scared that like the story won't be finished at the end of this and it's going to be continued. I don't know if that's true at all, but we'll find out when we get there. It sounds like this was like a completed narrative at the end of the chapters, hopefully, and there's just more stories, but we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah, it reminded me of reading something like I was gonna say it reminded me of reading Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, but I haven't read that. But like, there are these shorter.
It's a big, good one.
There are those shorter shonen series that are like, you know, under 100 chapters, but like still like a big epic story kind of thing. Like,
you know, in fairness, it does feel a lot like Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which is short, concise, beautiful.
Maybe I read some of it.
We'll never know, I guess. Go watch my video, best manga ever, best Lucifer and Biscuit Hammer.
So I started reading chapter 23. I tweeted about how there was this really funny moment where there's just like this old, like, the Chainsaw Man author has a way of introducing a chapter without any words, just like a bunch of images of characters in scenes that are very like awkward and goofy deliberately.
Yeah.
And they're fucking hilarious. And just like the shot of like this old lady trying to give information to our two young recruits who just, the one guy's got like this pained expression on his face. It's just a great little thing. And then that old lady immediately gats them both down in the streets. And I'm like, what is going on?
It's the setup and the payoff of like this ridiculous element that immediately gets like more real than you thought physically possible when she literally kills one or both of them, which we'll get back to.
She guns them both down. We see a bunch of people get gunned down. Even our main characters are getting thrashed. And it's also just the way that this plays out is so fucking well done, because it's like the bad guys show up and you've got this girl with a snake, giant snake thing, and the Katana demon.
The Katana devil,
who is like sort of the first one that is similar to Chainsaw Man in design, where he's got the two blades and a head blade.
Design and function, where they're both like physically immortal, it seems, and all kinds of powers.
So he's like the first like direct rival type. Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The two of them fighting is immediately cool as shit. So all of that just starts happening, and because of the fact that it's Katana Demon, we also have to think this is probably one of the stronger demons out there.
Everyone knows there's nothing stronger than Japanese folded steel. This is, as they covered in Dr. Stone recently.
Reputationally, at least, I would think it was about on par with chainsaws.
That man's power level is directly correlated to the number of weebs in the world that are fueling him with their love of Japanese steel, and I love that.
The manga, the translation I was reading literally described him as the Japanese sword demon, and I was like, well, if the word in Japanese was katana, that just means sword. I know. So I don't know if this is a translator thing or if he only represents katana swords, because he is katana swords. So.
Yeah, you know, that would be interesting to go back and look in the Japanese source and like see which way it went. I'm guessing it probably just says katana, but maybe there's like a kanji that means something specifically. I don't know.
I'm just wondering, are we going to see a bastard sword demon later? Or
like
or
a
was
claymore
he all
demon.
Swords? I would prefer he was just all swords. I don't need multiple types of swords.
I agree. I agree. On the character of the katana devil, though, what I like about him was, I didn't expect this, but so he introduced himself. They're in like a coffee shop as everyone's getting murdered everywhere else, and he's like doing the sort of the villain monologue, and he's like, "Hey Denji, I've been looking for you. Remember this guy?" Holds up a picture of like him and his grandpa, who was the Yakuza boss, who had like enslaved Denji, and he does this great monologue, which gets touched on later in this section of chapters. Where he's like, "Yeah, my grandpa was a Yakuza. And, you know, he was actually one of the good Yakuzas. He kept his murders of women and children to a bare minimum. To a bare minimum. So you know he's a good man." Yeah. And this is used as a justification for why he needs to get revenge for his grandpa. Right. Fuck you, Denji, you don't get to kill my grandpa. And then he unleashes hell. But this idea of, like, necessary evil comes back later in this section too, and we'll get to that. But I love that we see that perspective.
There's a great, the Yakuza have an argument for why they are a necessary evil, which is that we keep them foreigners out of Japan. Them foreign gangsters would run roughshod, but we takes care of you, you know. I don't know. It's like, well, it's interesting to when someone like gives you logic like that, where they're like, we're a stopgap for this other thing happening. It's like, it might be true that that's the case, but there could be any number of other preventative measures to make that happen.
Right.
Like the Yakuza is not necessary evil, and that's why when she takes them out, she's like, any actually necessary evil will be controlled by the state.
Well,
like,
that was a fascinating argument. Let's get into that just a little bit. So this is Makima later on, just in various reasons. She needs to talk to the mob guys. Things are going on with them. And like the mob boss makes that argument. But his argument was specifically, we are the underground. Look, as long as anything is illegal, there will be some demand for it, and it will inherently generate, even like sex slavery, which is obviously bad, there will be some demand for it, and like people are going to try to fill that need. And it's a question of like, do you control it? Can you stamp it out completely? Ideally, we'd want it to be stamped out, every, really bad thing. But there's arguments about what's truly bad. Is it good to enforce strict drug laws? Blah, 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 all that stuff. So I love that he says, we are here as the Japanese Yakuza, because if we weren't here, like he says, yes, like you get a little bit of that xenophobic Japanese thing of like, then the Russians or, I don't know, the Koreans, whoever would step in and they'd basically, he says, they would have less care about the Japanese people and less respect for them, which reminds me of like, in The Godfather 2, for example, there's an Italian mobster who extorts his own Italian group. And then like Vito Corleone, the Godfather, in his flashback in like the 20s or whatever it was, he comes to power because he protects the Italians in like the Little Italy, and he steals from like everybody else. So he's like a Robin Hood to this community. Like, from that sense, like, there's a defensive argument to make about it, which is exactly what he's doing. But of course, they still do bad things. This is a justification for how their family can profit and other people doesn't. So it's slightly morally complex. Yes, they're criminals, but then Makima's argument against it is, as you said, that's not good enough. That is not a good enough argument. Crime is crime, and we will stamp it out. But for the record, I love that the way that Makima makes this argument to convince them is by pulling out a bag of eyeballs.
This was madness.
This was insane. And I mean, Makima's did fucked up shit before this that we will get to.
I completely forgot about the eyeball bag.
And whose eyeballs were they? Whose eyeballs were they? They weren't the other members of the Yakuza, like your lieutenants, and I've got them here. These were literally the innocent women and children related to the mob bosses. And yes, she says, if you go along, we'll return them. What if they don't go along? What if they don't agree to submit to you? I'm just saying, that is a necessary evil.
Can you store like 40 eyeballs in a paper bag on top of each other and like reinsert them later?
Are you sure the right ones go to the right person?
None of them are labeled. It's just a bag of eyeballs.
They say we have a devil hunter who can restore them, so if you go along,
okay, maybe they were removed through like a very simple demon magic process where you just like,
I would imagine
yoink,
so.
Yoink, and then they just gonna slip them back in like that.
Let's assume that's the case.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like, while there's a Yakuza here defending his actions on like these particular grounds, Makima here explicitly is hurting innocent people. And this is the thing. Criminals use the innocent as a shield to get away with what they're doing. Makima is like, I don't care. So we're being showed an obvious example of criminals who do bad things and then good people who also do bad things and are hurting innocent people. Because you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. So, like, there's no heroes here. No one is like an angel.
This is a very morally gray series for sure.
And I love it. I love it.
And extremely violent. And, like, there's been a lot of shonen that, like, people be like, oh, this is, like, more violent than the average shonen. And I'm always like, nothing's more violent than JoJo. This is, like, at least as violent as JoJo, if not possibly more so, with all the people just getting, like, pressed. That was the most, so Makima has an ability that we haven't had fully explained yet.
Right.
This is one of the most badass scenes I've ever seen in a fucking manga, is where she comes back.
Gives me shivers thinking about like what she did to do this, but you tell us about it, yeah.
After we've seen like most of everybody just seemingly get fucking wiped out and killed.
During this initial raid to capture Denji.
She is shown on the train alive. We have no idea how she lived yet.
And I looked back, she was definitely shot through the head. Something undid that.
She just got back up. We also don't know what she did to the people in the train that left a gigantic hole in them. So she's got all kinds of abilities, probably. But like, so she kills all these people on the train, gets back into town, and is like, bring me, like, I need to go to like a monastery, and I need you to bring me a bunch of fucking convicts who are on death row.
Who have at least life, not even necessarily death row, life
just
sentences.
At least life sentences. I guess they don't have the death penalty in Japan, I don't think. So.
Oh yeah, you might be right.
So yeah, life sentence prisoners. They line up like 10 of them on a shrine, and each of them's like blindfolded on hands and knees, like a religious ritual. And she comes up to each one of them, tells them to say a name, and then they say that name, and then that person is just like compressed into dust.
And it's
basically.
like she's doing this from like Kyoto onto Tokyo, or like a massive distance.
It's like she's doing like an airstrike from it's kind of like the God of High School palm thing that the guy did.
Yes, it is.
Except that every time she does it, one of these convicts just dies. So she's literally, they are like bullet casings like falling over as she fucking presses each person. It's sick, and it's like a whole chapter of her just smushing people.
Fear Makima, the chapter.
Yeah.
The ominous like feeling of this. What I would love to see animated. I can't wait to see this in the anime.
I want to know what music they would choose.
When the random nameless mook is like, guys, I feel something. Something's happening, and then just holy shit, that was awesome. Yeah. And they make a specific note to say everyone there, including her allies, had to be blindfolded because Makima has a super secret devil. No one's allowed to know like what her devil is. I'm thinking now. Okay, I just have to say, what? Satan devil? I was thinking things like God devil, maybe some weird things. Sometimes like bird devil. I don't know. There was a bird in one shot.
We have been introduced to an angel devil.
We did
There's
meet an
literally
angel devil,
an angel devil, and if you touch her, your lifespan decreases. I guess. But she is totally pro-humanity, I guess.
Seems that way.
We haven't really learned what her power is.
Let me throw out a crazy theory here that probably isn't true, but it could be. And it's so like we're making progress on this whole gun devil thing. And we're going to move towards that actively at the end. But they don't say exactly like what they're doing next. Who else do we know who blasted people from very, very far away and did massive damage at one point in history? Maybe she's the gun devil?
Like maybe is or contracts with?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's... What if she has a contract with the gun devil and uses that power for...
Fuck.
I mean...
That makes perfect sense.
I don't know. That'd be a pretty big twist. And the fact that they do not let you see who she's contracted with, that's pretty mysterious. So maybe it's just the God Devil. I don't know.
I'm still mad at myself for the fact that I hadn't thought, like, when they got shot through the head at the end of the last chapter, gun.
I didn't. You know what? Okay, I love that. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. So it's explicitly stated later that, yes, all these people, okay, they've got guns, and they're like, where did they get these guns from? Turns out almost anybody can make a contract with the gun devil if you have 200 American dollars down, baby.
That's right.
Or it was like 20,000 yen or $200. Yeah. You have to go through the snake devil lady. She's like the contact with the gun devil or something. But you can just buy a contract with a gun devil for money, and you just get a gun and bullets. These is the terms of the agreement for money. So that's already weird. Why does the gun devil need money? Where is he? What is the point of any of this stuff? Isn't Makima doing shady shit behind the scenes? I don't know. Because there's also stuff later about, like, hey, Makima, the master guy who's teaching Denji and Power later says, Makima, I hope that you're on our side. I hope you're not secretly betraying everybody, because if you are, I'll have to stop you. So, like, there's just drama about Makima's allegiance specifically is being raised, and I'm noting that with great interest.
Did the training happen before or after they went and killed Katana Demon?
Well, there's the initial raid where Denji gets chopped in half but is fine afterward. Then there's training, and then there's the final raid.
So the guy who trains him, do you remember that guy's name?
Well, they call him Master. Master. Yeah.
So Master, awesome character.
Yeah.
There's so many times that this manga hits the exact same beats as Jujutsu Kaisen. It just does it so much better. And it's all just because of how much more fun the characters are. That in Jujutsu Kaisen, everyone's a hard ass. In this, like, the characters are dumb. Like, Power and Denji are just, like, literally dumb.
I love watching them be so much stupid. Fun. It's great.
Yeah, like the way that they play off of each other and, like, hype each other up for their own dumb ideas.
And it's the perfect balance too of they're really stupid in, like, and they act retarded all the time. Yeah. But when it comes to fighting and when they're trying to fight Master, they actually have some really cool tactics that they use to try to take him out. This guy's training them. He's being a hard ass. He's actively killing Denji many, many times because Denji is effectively immortal, as we saw in Chapter 1.
You know what it is? I know exactly what the problem is with Jujutsu Kaisen versus this show. It's that in this show, the action is compelled by the characters' personalities. Like, the reason that they do make the decisions they do is that they would. And, like, the story puts, like, the author just puts these characters in situations where being who they are will get them through that. Jujutsu Kaisen creates situations and then the character is just reacting to it. You know, like he has no drive. He never has, like, his own personal goal beyond what other people are telling him to do. Like, get stronger and go fight these guys. Okay, I guess I will.
Now, that can be a fine way to open up a character if you have to put tension on them, theoretically. I'm sure there's plenty of stories that have done that well. dropping a fish out of water scenario, you have to react and, we learn about their fun personality. I think the real problem is that Jujutsu Kaisen just hasn't really developed much personality, which is why, if you haven't noticed, we haven't picked up more of it because I'm fucking bored, and maybe we will later, but
we'll wait till something really cool happens, I guess.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But anyway, on Chainsaw Man, I didn't have any point to go to from there.
Oh. I was talking about the master and how, like, in Jujutsu Kaisen, there was this part where he had to, like, kind of be taken away for training for a little while. And granted, this was, like, earlier in the series. We haven't made it as equivalently far into that series as we have into this. I don't know if there's better training montages with better coaches later. But, like, this guy was immediately interesting because, like, he asks them a bunch of questions. Like, so basically this arc is Denji questioning his humanity. Like, is he still human at all? Does he still have any emotions? Because when this girl died, he felt basically very little. Like, he didn't cry. He was just kind of like, oh, well, that's what happens. Our other buddy, the rival character.
Aki, Sasuke.
Aki, yeah, he gets a lot of emotional
moments. This is kind of
moments
his arc too when he gets to do. In fact, let's touch on him and her real quick before we get back to Denji. So during that initial raid, like, Aki is about to be killed by, I think, the snake demon lady, the snake devil lady, and in a moment of desperation, having already been shot, Himeno here, in her last gasp of energy, she's said before, she lost her eye because she gave it to the ghost devil to be able to use one of its hands. Right. And she asked the ghost devil, like, hey, please help.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot. But yeah, there's an awesome scene of her losing each limb as the ghost devil takes them to fight the guy.
Because she says, I'll give you everything. Just save Aki. So this girl, one chapter ago, when we were in our last batch of chapter 22, had established this, like, love, or maybe it was like 2 or 3 chapters ago, whatever. This like love plan where they were going to help each other bond. She was going to help Denji get with Makima.
Flag.
It was a death flag, yes.
And the only reason that we thought it might not be a death flag is because Makima had gotten shot.
Yeah, it was
a perfect trick to have her die before revealing. As soon as she died, I was like, you got me, because that other bitch is going to be back. I know it.
And she didn't even die. Okay, this is a great setup. She didn't even die to the hand of the enemy. She was consumed by her own devil in a way to protect Aki. Yeah. And Aki like gets fucked up anyway, and her ghost devil gets like swallowed and eaten by the snake devil, so it like was almost pointless anyway, which the futility of it is the real sad part. And incidentally, I have to make note of one thing. So it's at this point that Aki pulls out the sword that had been hinted before. I'll use my sword, because he has a contract with the curse devil. Yeah. And so he stabs you with this big nail sword 3 times, and you instantly die. And that would work on anyone except literally immortal people like Katana Devil or Chainsaw Man. So that didn't work out. But I have to give special mention, put this shit on screen, that when the cursed devil operates, I love this, and I'm so scared they're gonna fuck it up in the anime, because you can see the cursed devil operating outside the manga panels. It is reaching in beyond the 4th wall to operate on the things, and I fucking love it. You can see it pushes the nail from outside the panel, showing like the only way. Yeah, go on.
One of the great things about this manga is that even though the artwork in terms of like him being skilled as anatomically is not necessarily the best. It's the ideas of how he decides to show things. Like, there's a shot where like Chainsaw Man and Katana guy are like clashing, and there's like a girl in the foreground, and like just the way that the shading was used to communicate the distance between her and them was like extremely clever. Just tons of really unique angles that they decide to show the characters from and fights from, which give it like it's kind of like One Punch Man in that way, where it's like even if the artwork's not incredible, the what's the word I'm looking for, expressiveness of the movement is great, and it has a very unique flow for a manga. It doesn't feel like the images are trying to go one into another. It's more like each one is creating a moment. I think it would translate well to anime for that reason, that like whereas One Punch Man was literally trying to be like animation in a comic form. This is more like a film in a comic form, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna give the anime two options when it comes to this. You can do one of two things if you don't want to fuck this up. We already have a ghostly hand that just does stuff. You have to break the fourth wall to convey this curse thing properly. You can either, this is fine, do like a meta thing where you literally reveal like a manga panel within the anime. That's fine, and then you're just like, okay, it was a manga, we're referencing that, it operates outside the bounds of the wall, that's fine. Option two, you can do the Fight Club approach and show literal film reel scrolling, and like it operates from outside the film reel and reaches in, because this is an anime. I understand it's not a manga anymore. Right. Those are your two options. You have to do one of those, or I will be pissed, because this was a great idea, and I love that the curse demon, I mean, you know, demons are powered by the fear they have, and especially the Japanese, those guys are fucking terrified of curses. They're shitting themselves worrying about them all day, so I love that it has like that level of power. It's Pinkie Pie level power,
I'd
truly.
like to see it done as like I think the easiest way they could do it would be an aspect ratio shift. Just have like the screen be in like 4:3 or something, and then have an arm come from outside of the, you know, the black bar on
Would
the
love
side.
any of that. That would all be great. So do it. Do it.
So yeah, there's a sick fight and most people die, and then they meet Master and he starts training them, and he, because of the fact that you know, Denji's worried, do I still have human emotions after watching this girl die? He's like, oh, you guys barely have any humanity left, and also you're immortal, and I'm really excited because I just love like murdering. Like I used to just kill dogs when I was a kid for fun.
Did you say that?
Something like that. He said I used to have toys or something,
Okay.
but that, like, his toys would break, so he's excited to have toys that don't break.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. But like the guy's just like, yeah, I'm a psycho murderer. I love hunting demons. You guys are my best friends just for existing. And like, so it just the way that his mentality is like, I literally love you right away. I am now going to murder you 7,000 times.
I love it. He presents himself immediately, hey, just so you know, I am the strongest. Let's not even worry about that.
Yeah.
I will just keep fighting you every single day, and I'll kill you over and over.
The logic was perfect. And this is like, this almost makes, like, this is what every training master should be saying is, hey, if you can beat me, then you'll just be the strongest. So that's all we have to do is keep fighting until you can beat me. That's it. It's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, it's like Pai Mei and Kill Bill, you know, like he's the only guy who can train you to be strong enough to kill him.
And I love, okay, this is another one of these jokes, the idiot duo of Power and Denji, as they literally do like, they literally say in the text, it's time for our high IQ plan. We're going to be high IQ.
Yes.
I think the chapter was called like the high IQ plan or something like that. And like they are wearing glasses and they're so fucking stupid, and I love them. But their plan was actually decent, because what Power did was, she knew that the guy was coming to their front door to pick them up the next day, so she's the blood devil, right? They put a bunch of blood in water bottles above him on the floor, so they would spike downward in deadly spikes, and almost got him, but then Denji was like, when he jumped back, Denji would be there with an axe to kill him. He was too slow, it didn't work out, but they're planning, they're growing, they're learning, and I love all that.
And there's a pretty satisfying sense of progress of him, like, telling them longer and longer they get to go between training. When they get kind of okay, he's like, oh, I'll just pass for the rest of the day. And then later he's like, oh, you only have to train once a week now because you guys have gotten pretty smart.
You know, I will say that I wouldn't call this an ideal training arcs, because like an ideal training arc is something like in Naruto, when Naruto starts not knowing how to do the Rasengan and ends knowing how to do the Rasengan and uses it to win the battle. Denji doesn't we don't visibly see what was done.
What newly they learned.
It's not that kind of series where they do attack names.
We did learn that they learned how to plan, and that might be the most important thing. It's just that they're going to have ideas beyond run in and punch things.
That's fine. It's not that kind of series, really. So yeah, and that all comes to a head when it's time for the raid. We know where they're keeping where the snake devil is, and the katana.
Well, there's a great table turning here, because like when all this violence started, it was so overwhelming, because before we meet Katana Devil or Snake Girl, half the cast is already dead. Yeah. Supposedly, like. Most of the people just get shot, and then like super powerful bad guys show up, kill her, take out Denji, gets cut in half, fucking like everybody's fucked.
I guess it makes sense to just reflect. So that big party that everybody had been at, there were a bunch of humans that we met for the first time there. Most of them are dead now.
Yeah.
There was like a girl with short hair. She's dead. There's like a guy with glasses. He lives, but he's one of the rare ones. And then there's the two people who were with us.
That guy's definitely coming back.
I think he will probably come back.
They put too much focus on his survival.
He went to the private sector, whatever that means. But The two guys who were with us, the tall guy and like the yandere knife girl, so the guy had been killed. The girl not only survives but actually helps and shows she's got like weird monkey skills.
She is
or
now
something.
my favorite character. What the fuck's her name? Okay, so
I can't remember.
She's the crazy girl who tried to kill. She tried to kill Denji before in the whole locked room thing before. But because of the fact that, and this is something they keep building to throughout the series, is that everyone in this division is crazy, and the longer you're here, the more crazy you will become. But being more crazy also makes you more effective at the job. So she was already crazy because she was already willing to like flip into stabbing someone, trying to kill someone much more powerful than her just on like pure idiocy. So this time a guy jumps in front of a bullet for her, and it's like the conflict of simultaneously being like, wow, he defended me with his life, and also this guy just died, I think just broke her. And so she immediately, it's like running up fucking demon arms and stabbing. Like she's like kills multiple demons with just a knife. Yeah.
And you know, it's a little bit of like, I kind of wish we had seen these skills before because they kind of seem out of nowhere, but she is a devil hunter, so clearly she's got some powers. Yeah.
But like, there's this idea that she is getting desensitized in her own way, but like, whereas Denji takes it really well and normally it's just like, do I really still have emotions? And then, like, he gets to hang out with, Makima and like reaffirm, yeah, I do. And like, meanwhile, she's over there like, I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm actually going crazy.
It's been well established in order to make it in this job, you have to be crazy. Yeah. And we see that, and we'll get back to that, but I think that's what we're building to. So we don't really see that much more with her. Like, she contributes in her own way, but so I feel like she's being established. I think she's going to go the distance. She's going to be with us in the chapters to come. Yeah.
Because like, it was a surprise when those characters came back at all, because we were told they had quit, and then they changed their mind. So So now that the guy is dead, to activate her psycho, I'm thinking that this character, you know, the author thought he was just gonna have her for this one because he's like, I want to have a girl who goes crazy with a knife, like a cute, timid girl with a psycho murder side.
I feel
but then just enjoyed the character way too much. It had to bring her back. That's my theory.
I kind of feel like she's like the receptacle that all the non-important like suits in the industry, they were all killed off. They're all fucking dead. But all that craziness, just narratively, is being funneled into one character who's like the normal person who just goes batshit insane.
Right.
And I don't know what that's gonna be, but I'm excited to see more of her.
Because at this point, it's probably just her and Sasuke Boy who are like actual humans on this team.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
maybe Makima's a normal human, but like she's obviously had god powers, so you know.
But yeah, it's great that whole part with everybody dying and everything fucked happening, the heroes are completely on the back foot to the point that I was willing to believe that like the manga was going to just be like really different after this point. Like so many people had died, it's unclear who's gonna be brought back or whose death is as meaningful as anybody else's until the smoke is cleared. And when the smoke is like they're pulling Denji's corpse into a truck until Makima palm hands everybody.
Right. They almost got him.
It instantly nullifies the situation, and then, but it's like all that's left is Denji, Power,
Aki,
and Aki. And so we have like a few chapters of the training, but now, because of the fact that they wiped out most of those guys, our dudes are stronger, and the Snake Girl and Katana have been like abandoned. Like they seem to just be like on lockdown in this building, and they're like, we're just gonna have to take all comers, you know, like Snake Girl's like,
forget why they found that place, but whatever. They found the place where the bad guys are. Fair enough.
So the bad guys are trying to like batten down, but like just going into this battle, we know it's like, okay, well, this is going to be like a fucking slaughter. Like our guys are coming in hot. They're angry. They're powered up.
And speaking of being powered up, we've got to talk about how Aki himself had he's got the sword of the Curse Devil, but he also had that Fox Devil he was doing stuff with.
Right.
The Fox Devil has said, fuck you, because it got all fucked up by the Katana Devil at one point and doesn't want to have a contract with Aki anymore, so he needs a new devil.
Yes.
So he goes to see the Future Devil, baby, who loves the future. The future is awesome.
The future is so sick. That devil had a sick design. He kind of looked like a Guillermo del Toro monster or something.
And he's like, yo, put your face in my chest cavity. How else am I supposed to see your future, you idiot? Obviously. And so he does it. And so he gets a contract with the Future Devil. What that means, speaking of Sasuke, he gets the seeing eye powers of Sasuke.
Yes.
In his right eye, he can now see the future a little bit. And, you know, it doesn't make him more powerful, but he can dodge attacks and stuff. But the cost was interesting. The devil said, all you got to do is let me live in your right eye. Because the death I see in your future is so fucked up. I just want to be there to see it happen.
Yeah,
and he's like, okay. Oh, and incidentally, he also, when assessing, like, he's talking to the cursed devil, he asks, hey, how much longer do I have to live? Cursed devil replies, 2 years.
Yeah.
So clearly,
that's why he's like, there's 2 years. I think the answer to that question was meant to be like just slightly longer than however long you imagine the rest of the story taking, you know, to like occur. It's like, yeah, he has exactly how long is left in this manga to live. So that's why he's just he's doubling down.
He's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. But maybe he'll live to see the gun devil killed, which would make him happy.
What if he's the only one who lives? What if it's like a total reversal?
Like a Solid Snake Metal Gear Solid 4 ending where he lives the rest of his like 1 week of life in peace, you know, reflecting on a life well lived, hopefully.
So they raid the place and he gets the coolest fight probably because
it has all the emotional stakes in that fight.
So the snake vomits Ghost back up to fight him.
Yep.
And as he's fighting Ghost, he remembers when when she was trying to give him a cigarette, and he was like, "I'm underage." She was like, "All right, well, once you're of age, and you need to take the edge off. I'll give you a cigarette." And then Ghost, through one of the many hands it has, hands him a cigarette, and it says "Easy Revenge" on it.
Easy Revenge.
And so he's like, "All right, sick." And then he explains that Ghost does not see; it just sees fear. And since he has no fear, he just walks up its arms, and like there's a panel where it turns into like a field of flowers that he's walking up.
He just has no fear.
It looks awesome. It was a great fucking scene.
I love that scene. Yeah.
And
he kills the fucking ghost demon or devil.
And it looks the shot of him like standing on its body with the blood just like all pulled out and stuff, like, you know, like a newly hunted gazelle or something on the prairie. Just again, the artwork. It's not about the technical ability, but just the ideas of what is drawn. And the monster designs are also really cool. I think this artist is better at drawing monsters than people, possibly.
I agree. He puts like the real effort into like when Chainsaw Man's going sicko mode and stuff. And the way that was handled was very emotionally satisfying because it's like Himeno, by teaching the snake devil lady, she thought she had one up on Aki. She thought like, oh, I'm gonna use your own devil back at you, you idiots. So I didn't see that one coming, did you? But it's because he was close with Himeno, and he had this connection that she had told him, like, this is how you can counter the Ghost Devil, so he knew the insider info on how to take it out. So it's like, from beyond the grave, she's helping him win. I got big Fooly-Cooly vibes of, like, a cigarette with writing on it, never knows best and shit, and, like, a little romance between these two. It was just a beautiful little scene. It honored her death, like, it had purpose, it helped them win. And then immediately after, because the snake bitch is so off guard that he doesn't kill her, but our crazy yandere girl sneaks up and got the knife to her, so we take her out as well.
That's how they incapacitate her. And then, interestingly, so right after that, Chainsaw Man fights Katana Man.
Yep.
Big
Their
battle.
big fight,
You know, goes the way you expect. Chainsaw Man wins.
He wins specifically by being more crazy, as he always does.
Oh, yeah, and then they tie him up and kick him in the balls over and over again.
They have a tournament.
Wow, yeah, a tournament.
Him and Aki compete over who can make him scream louder by kicking him in the balls before the cops arrive to stop them. Because this man's immortal, but he deserves to suffer. He killed their friend. He killed a lot of their people. That's fucked up.
The joyous looks on their faces. That's another scene I can't wait to see animated, because you can hear the like laughter like that they would dub over it with like like as they kill.
Now, I can't say I much approve of torture of people who are already captured, but I don't have to approve. This is Chainsaw Man.
They even Aki says like, you know, she wouldn't have like, this isn't like a way to honor her memory. It's not something she would have wanted.
That's right.
But like he sees the cigarette, says easy revenge, and he's like, well, it's what she would have wanted for me is for me to do whatever I want, and I want to kick this guy in the balls.
Chainsaw Man isn't Crime and Punishment about like delving into the deep moral complexities of like, you know, law enforcement versus criminals or whatever, what's right and wrong. This is Chainsaw Man, and I'm bringing that back, baby, unapologetically juvenile. That's what that scene was. And I love it, and I thought it was great. I mean, and Denji's character is a 16-year-old idiot who doesn't know what he's doing. He's totally out of his
Aki is
depth.
also like a teenager, I think.
He's
So,
like 18 maybe or
literally,
something.
like,
And he draws Aki into it, who was like, okay, I guess I'll kick him in the balls until he cries and dies.
but they have so much fun doing it, and that's what really brings it home.
I loved it. That was emotional catharsis. Yeah.
But I really liked also that, so that's the way that chapter ends. Great ending of the chapter. And then in the next chapter, we just kind of hear about that the girl with the snake just kind of got fucking eliminated. Like,
the snake seemed to kill her itself. So
and
something
just the way
happened.
that panel was done of like, so, okay, this character, there had been a whole fight around her with the other things, but like the death is literally a like slit panel in the middle of the page of just the snake like having corkscrewed through the wall and her head on the end of its mouth and her body over here, and that's it.
I hope in the anime that scene
Image should
is
be on
half
screen,
a second long of her just going, and then she's dead, and then we cut back, and that's the entire adaptation.
It
of
was
that.
just like, oh,
Yeah, I loved
damn. Well, I guess I don't need to know. I guess that is tied up.
And
that loose end.
narratively, like, she had to die or be incapacitated or something because she's the one with the contract with the Gun Devil. She's got very useful information, probably.
Right.
So narratively, we need her to not tell us so we can discover it ourselves.
I just think this author is extremely clever about like putting the effort into the parts that matter, not only on the art front, but also like just the idea that, obviously the fight with Katana Devil was something that needed to be focused on because it's a big, huge, awesome rival fight that we're looking forward to. This girl doesn't have any emotional stakes in the narrative. She is a plot device more so than anything. So like the fact that there isn't a fight with her, there's a fight with Ghost, which is emotionally relevant. This character just kind of gets eliminated once she's not plot relevant anymore. Smart, you know, there didn't need to be a whole battle with her or any extra dialogue or anything like that. I just think Chainsaw Man always gets to the point really quick.
The efficiency, the fast-pacedness is really serving this series well.
Yeah.
And like that first episode we did, that felt like the intro. And exactly as we said, the Gun Devil is now up in their face, doing things to them, contracting with people, giving guns everywhere. That feels really good. And I wonder if, like on a larger scale, I wonder if this is part of the Gun Devil's plot to like increase the notoriety of guns again, because there's this propaganda war going on. Maybe he wants guns to be out there just to, you know, raise the profile so his power level
Make
can go up
people
again.
remember guns.
Yeah, remember guns. I remember guns. So that's all great. And one other aspect that happens here is during the battle, because there's also another, this is the Yakuza guys they're fighting here, and the zombies from Chapter 1 are back, and there's a whole zombie horde of zombie devil humans down there, and they are fought by our new batch of non-human zombie devil people, and these are the Shark Devil, who's like a Devil Man, I don't know, whatever.
He's like a super hyperactive. He really likes Chainsaw Man now because he thinks that Chainsaw Man is the strongest. And so he wants to follow that guy.
There's Violence Devil, who is
just violence, I guess.
He's so powerful. He has to wear like a gas mask, a plague doctor mask filled with poison to make him less powerful. He's the Kenpachi of the series.
Why is gun more powerful than just the concept of violence? Does violence not encompass gun? Like
a philosopher would have to assess that one. Maybe violence is too heady, too non-specific, you know?
For people to be as afraid of it.
But he is said to be very strong. Oh, Spider. There was a spider lady.
Yes.
So she was, I don't know, she's a spider. Cool. Yeah. And then last is Angel, yep, who isn't hostile to humans, but if you touch her, drains your life force, so watch out for that. Right. And these are obviously going to be our new cast that are going to do at least one fight per, I hope, and we'll get some fun stuff with them.
Sick. Yeah, I love this manga. Everything that happened was hype as fuck.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I burned through those fucking chapters with a fervor.
Me too.
Excited to read more. Excited to read the whole thing. It's fucking over. Like,
that's great. That's great.
When do you get these opportunities? I'm like, wait. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, it's over. I'm like, it's over.
I can now read
God.
It.
Yeah.
As a One Piece reader, I've heard that sentiment many times. One last thing that happens at the end here. There's the date. He gets to go on a date, Denji and Makima. And they go and they go to the movies. And this is the capstone to the whole am I still human arc. He hasn't cried. Yeah. He hasn't done anything. And we wonder if Makima herself is still human or is she a monster.
This chapter, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the climax of it. I couldn't help but think a little bit I don't know. What do I want to call it? Like Reddity to be like, oh, I see 10 movies before I see one that I enjoy. So we had an all-day movie marathon where we saw 10 movies in a row.
It was,
Unlike all these fucking normies in the audience who are laughing at the comedies and crying at the romance movies while we stoically sit in it. But the movie that no one gets. People
it's
say
too
this
deep.
movie, they don't understand this movie.
Yeah.
It's an empty theater, and they're both losing their shit. They're like, this movie's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life.
I would have preferred if Denji had cried at like Medea's family get together 5. Like that would have made me laugh, and then she could cry at whatever girls cry about.
I just think there would have been a more effective way to communicate the idea that they have the same taste in movies, as opposed to that like they are just have better taste in movies than everyone else.
You know,
is kind of how it felt.
This Makima Denji thing that's going on here, like, I'm not willing to even pretend for a moment that I think that like these two could make a potentially healthy couple. He's a 16-year-old idiot, an obvious tool being used by her, and she is like a power player, like politician. Like she is condescending.
She's a scary motherfucker to literally everybody.
She is absolutely terrifying, and I do not believe like any of the. And, see, I think this is the point. I think that if you take this romance like seriously at all, like yes, she appreciates him, she respects him, she shows him what romance can be and like genuine affection stuff. Right. That's all fine, but that could be happening, and also she's got way bigger plans. Like this is just she's basically wasting her time to hang out with him.
They're definitely setting her up as like the most mysterious, most like duplicitous character. So it could go either way.
But I mean, I enjoy their interactions, and as like a motivator for Denji wanting to get closer to her, that's great, and that goes well with her mystique in general. Denji wants to know more about her. We want to know more about her. It's great. She's a great character. And the final thing that happens is that as Denji is out like walking home or something, it's raining and he bumps into a girl, and he's
just
thinking
happens
to himself,
to just meet a cute girl, like a very normal teen.
Man, there's only one girl for me, man. There's only one girl, and it's Makima. Like bumps into a girl, smiles, gives him one tiny bit of affection. He says, "Oh no, I like any girl who likes me." And it's like, Makima, save me! There's a girl who's testing my loyalty to you, please.
That was so fucking funny. The exact quote he says is like, "Uh-oh, I like people who like me."
Yeah.
Like,
who could have predicted such a thing?
Oh, no.
Great men have fallen for less.
Denji is a sweet, sweet boy.
He's young. He's stupid, unapologetically juvenile. This is exactly what 16-year-olds don't know anything about girls or romance. They're idiots.
And it was funny too because like this girl, like she's openly flirting with him to such an extent that he can pick up on it.
Right.
Which makes me think that it must be
there's something mysterious.
If he can pick up on it, then it's too overt.
See, that's the immediate bait. Is she a devil? Is she the love devil? I don't know. Is she like a demon hunter?
All I've heard from when I posted that page on Twitter was that I had just gotten to best girl. So
really?
That's what I've been told.
Okay, well that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
That's where we leave it, though. So chapter 41, we're picking up, and we're going to. I'll post down below, like in the about thing, with the next sections if you want to read along with us. But I guess that's it for this long ass episode about Chainsaw Man, because we both love it, and there's so much good shit to talk about. Yeah. I can't wait to get the next section. I'm really fucking stoked.
Subscribe star. Send us you saying Khantehnt in a video, and we'll play it like this one that you're about to see. Khantehnt!
All right.
Pointed up, but like, does it come from above or? Like...
No, there's no up about it. I just point in a general direction.